Hey everyone, Coach Wheeler, Indiana Tech. I've got another video analysis I'm going to do here. A gentleman, a senior in high school in Arizona, sent me some videos to watch. So we're going to go over his 60 and 110 hurdles first, and then I'll make a separate video on him with the 300 hurdles. Um, and I'll do that one on a separate video here. So, anyways, just to get started here, we've got the great beginning of the race for him on this video. We'll just go full speed here, and just generally talk about the race and see where we're at. So that's him in the middle there with the yellow. He's in the middle lane, yellow there. Wow, ton of speed, ton of speed. Really good pushes, really good crossing mechanics. A couple things that I'm seeing that might help him a little bit, but there isn't a whole lot there that needs to be worked on. Yeah, it looks really good. So what we'll do here is I'll just go. We're just gonna go slow in the beginning here. So get him up into set position here. Again, he's in the middle. Got the yellow on his back right here. Let's see if I notice anything here in his first 3 to 4 steps. Good push. Cast back. Good. Okay. Couple different things here that I'm noticing with the start, and nice chop step, good wrap, good lead. Okay. Let's go back really quickly here. Um, First thing I'm noticing where we can probably get a little more speed is the head placement coming out of the blocks. So you want your head placement to be neutral. And what I mean by that is you should be able to, when you are in your initial push, you should be at a 45-degree angle coming out of the block. So you're here out of the block. This would be the back of your head. If I can turn here to the camera, back of the head. And what I'm seeing here is there's a little, because I know what's happening. He's so strong and he's getting so much push into the track that his head is dropping every time he's feeling that force. And we want to keep that head in a neutral position. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's a little bit shaky, but and I don't know if it's just a little bit blurry, so it's hard for me to see. But it looks like in the first initial push, you're looking at the hurdle right there. Um, you shouldn't be locating that hurdle until at least the third step in. Yeah, it looks like you keep looking up for the hurdle, and I could be totally off base here. It's just too blurry, uh, and there's a lot of movement there. And I think what's happening is the gentleman that's next to you, um, you're kind of his movement might be throwing me off as well. But again, you want to keep that head neutral. You want to keep it at the back of your head at the same angle as your back. So you shouldn't be lifting your head up or down. And the reason why you want to do that or don't want to do that is your head, weighs 7 to 9 pounds. So if you start throwing it around, now you're throwing around your center of mass, and this is your center of mass right here. It's going to be contained right in your hips. Well, you lift your chin up and look for the hurdle. Now you've taken your center of mass and you've put it in front of you, and you end up chasing it instead of pushing it. And you want to push it the whole time. And it looks like for the most part you are pushing, but I'm just not comfortable with how you're locating the hurdle. So you want to go your first 3 to maybe even 4 steps before you look for the hurdle. If you feel the angst to look for it, you want to look for the hurdle with your eyes and not your forehead. And what I mean by that is as you're coming up, you want to look here with your eyeballs instead of raising your forehead to the hurdle. As soon as you make this movement, now your center of mass has been placed in front of you, and you want to continuously push it all the way through the hurdle. So I want to count how many steps you're taking to the first hurdle too. Just make sure that we're on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and cross. Okay, good. So you're at 8 steps to the first hurdle, and you've got a nice, really nice cut step there. So it looks like you're on, but I tell you what, you clean up those first 3 to 4 steps without trying to look for that hurdle right away, and you get a more aggressive back arm in your first 2 steps or your first 2 pushes out of the blocks. Let's take a look at the upper body. So I always tell my athletes we run with our hands on our feet. So whatever we do upper body wise affects what happens to us below. So if you are crossing in front of your body when you're starting, you're moving up the track like this, and we want everything to be linear. So we want to make sure that our pushes are straight forward. So there is a little bit, and I can tell that you're a little bit in front of your body with your arm carriage because you're stepping to the outside each time. See how you're stepping to the outside? Now, I'm being really ticky-tacky here. You're still getting really effective pushes here. So, but I just want to make sure that you're kind of seeing you're seeing what I'm seeing. But you've got great back elbow. This is really nice. That's telling me you're getting a ton of force into the track. That's the first thing. Let's see how you are on your second step. Okay, so I want to see more back elbow. I want there to be more extension. I want into that second step, I want that ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, all to be able to run a line right through, a straight line right through those, and a little bit of a bend in the knee before we're dropping that foot. So when you drop the foot, it tells me that your elbow is not extending back aggressively like it was when you first pushed out of the block. And all of this movement and everything that I'm telling you is going to get you closer to the hurdle, and it's going to get you there faster. Quick out of the blocks is not fast, it's just quick. You want to be big and strong and powerful your first 3 steps. So you don't even want to be looking at the hurdle. And I always tell my kids this, you have to be in your shoes when you're hurdling. And what I mean by that is you have to be in the start. You have to be in the blocks. You have to be in the push. You have to be into that second push. Your mind has to be in those positions. You can't be in your second push and you're already thinking about crossing the hurdle. You have to live your life in your shoes, and at this moment, your life is in that second step. So I want to make sure that we're getting big push. Now, you got great back elbow on the second step, so a couple things that kind of tells me. One, you may have had an injury, a hamstring injury or a glute injury on your left side, and that's why you're dropping down, because you're protecting it, or you're a little bit sore. Um, but man, you're getting really good pushes here. Want, and this is really good here. Your pillar, your upper body, is at the same angle as your shin, um, which is also a really good thing. And see, we're just kind of dropping. Watch this. Right here, you just drop the foot. Yeah, that's okay because you're under your chest. So never mind, you're good. And then you get your hips. You want at this moment here, right here. You want your hips high. You want your chest up, your hips high, so that when you drive that knee and you drive your press with your wrap arm, this is a press. the angle of your chest, your shoulders to your hip in relationship to the knee. It's like what I call the kids is closing the book. So this is the spine of the book, and these are the pages. You want to close that book on top of that hurdle. Um, but you're doing a really good job there. Beautiful wrap arm. I'm loving the wrap arm. Right in front of the face. You're not over rotated to the side. Let's see if we sweep the knee with the wrap arm. Yeah, you're sweeping the knee. We're opening up a little bit too soon. You probably could hold your press just a tad bit longer on top. You want to be more in a position of diving off of the hurdle than where you're at. Good speed in between. Good quad acceleration. Good heel to the hurdle. Good wrap arm. Look at this. Pulling this wrap arm over the top of the knee. That's pretty. Really nice job. And I can't see it, but again, another big thing that I kind of preach here, and I know, and I'm going to say it again, even though if you've seen in my other videos, I always say it. This is a very controversial thing to talk about, yeah. So what I'm seeing here is, if this guy's head wasn't in the way, is your wrist is behind your hip. Ideally, I want your wrist to be at your hip. That's going to eliminate any over rotation. And I can tell right now you're more than strong enough to hold your shoulders parallel to the hurdle, which you're doing. When you come off of the hurdle, and this person's head is kind of right in the way of me being able to see that. You do a really good job of holding that straight, because I want those shoulders to be parallel with the hurdle. Everything should be straight forward. Really good wrap. Nice job. Getting nice and tall off of the hurdle. These are great positionings, man. You are a really good hurdler. You got a great coach. Good job. And I know we zoom in here, so hopefully we can zoom in and get that last hurdle in. Last two hurdles in. Yeah, I wish this would be just a little bit more reactive. So, man, you're right underneath. Good chop step. Good wrap arm. Get that free side. Pulling over the top of the knee with the wrap arm here. Really, really nice. Great punch on the opposite side. I'm sure you're getting a good split. And running through the line. Nice job. Okay, that's your first one. So a couple things, we talked about in the beginning with your pushing at a start. Just get bigger, get stronger, get more aggressive on being driving those elbows back in your first three steps. That will allow you to get bigger. So that way you can kind of get an idea of feeling that force into the track to push your hips. So let's open up this second video here. What's going on here? We're a little laggy. Alright, this is the second video that you sent me here, and these are the 110s. Let's go full speed. I'm going to jump you up here. Let's go full speed. I think you're in the middle of the track on this one. Unfortunately, we don't get your start here, but we got a pretty good view of it on the last video. So you're in the middle there. Seated lane, very nice. Really good job. Man, you are a strong hurdler. Very impressive. Great job. What I really like about this is that you seem to be hyper focused about your lane. I always tell my athletes the most important person in the race is in your lane, so focus on that person, not on what's going on around you. But yeah, man, you do a great wrap arm. Good job. Nice and tall off of the hurdle. Right underneath. Really, really good job. Okay, so I'm going to stop it here once we get you into the first two or three hurdles. And then I'm going to slow it down and then talk about a couple things that you could probably work on. And again, I'm probably going to be really ticky-tacky here because you've got a lot of really positive things going for you. Okay, we'll go right now. I'll go. Good chop step. Man, you got great distance away from the hurdle, which tells me your hips are going to drop off right off of the hurdle. Very nice. Probably a little far away. Great split. And what I mean by the split is going to be that knee and upper knee. So what you're doing here is you're driving that knee into the armpit, and you actually, the reason why you hit the hurdle there is you opened up too soon. You have to be patient on top of the hurdle. And what I mean by that is making sure that your hips are crossing the stick before we start to before we open up on top. I want you to be tall off of the hurdle, yes, but if you hold your press a little bit longer and drive that knee, that trail leg knee into the armpit, you're going to get even more force into touchdown off of the hurdle. Um, then you get nice and tall. Really good job. Great chop step. Man, you got a pretty cut step. See how low to the that foot is to the track and just drops right down. It's keeping your hips away from that hurdle. Great wrap arm. Loving it. Good acceleration of the quad past 90. Cast to the tibular aspect. This is the tibular aspect, so you're going heel to the hurdle, which is very nice. Very good press. The only thing, again, probably that I would like to see you fix is going to be this here, your freeze side. That's the opposite side of your, and it's not terrible. Yeah, see how the hand should be at the hip at this point. And it should hold into that spot until that wrap arm starts to pull down over the top of the trail leg. This side is going to punch back up, and you want it to be long. And the reason why you want it to be long, or the angle to be open instead of being here, you're going to keep it down. You want it to be longer punch, but you want it to be crazy aggressive. And the reason why is because when you get on touchdown and you've driven that knee up into the armpit like you have, look at the split between the knees here. This is really what I like to see. And again, it's the same principle as coming out of the blocks. The bigger this pushes, or the bigger that knee is driving away, the more force you get into the track. Same way of coming out of the blocks. Now again, you don't want it to over rotate into, to it to look obnoxiously big, because you want to get it down to the ground. The faster, if you're in the air, you're not getting any force into the track, which means you're losing speed. We don't want to keep you in the air, but I want that foot on the ground as quickly as possible and more force. That'll give you more force as you possibly can. So you're strong enough where you don't have an over rotation with that backhand. It was a little far behind your hip. I'd like to see it more at the thigh. Uh, but man, this looks really good. Great wrap arm. Opening up just a little bit too soon on top. Be patient on top of the hurdle. That's why you keep dumping down on top of it. You have a great parabola. Your hip height on top of that stick is, it is right on top of it, which is great. That's what you want it to be. Might be a little more difficult when you move to the college level and you go to the 42s. It's going to be an adjustment for you, and you're probably going to feel like you're in the air forever compared to where you are now. But that's just something that, all hurdlers at your level have to work on. Good chop step, great drive, great press, great wrap the knee. So you held your press on top of this one just a tad bit longer, and watch when your hips drop off, you don't open up quite as soon, and that's why you don't come down on top of the hurdle. Really good job here. You're nice and tall. You got the strength to be able to keep those shoulders square, so every push that you're pushing is straightforward. and you don't have any over rotation with your shoulders. You could be a little taller here. You could be a sprinter because we are sprinters. That hurdle. And what I mean by tall is watch this step here and this one specifically. See how low you drop your hips here and your knee is out in front of your chest. Now it is over the top of the leg, so the shin is at a pretty decent angle here. But this bottom, I mean, keeping your butt down like that, those hips should be high and be pushing up. You lose speed when and I call it mushing the knee. You lose speed when you do that. So there's more speed in there off of this hurdle here. This should be 10. Let's see how we do crossing this one. Yeah, see that back arm, see how far back it is. And now we're looking at a fatigue factor because if you have to hold if you're using your abs and intercostals to hold that rotation, eventually when you're doing 10 hurdles, you're going to get to a fatigue point. That's going to be really challenging when you got guys that are as fast as you are sprinting, paying attention to holding on to that. I'll bet you there's a little bit of a rotation. Yep, there's a rotation off of the hurdle that I'm seeing. See that rotation there? I can see your back plain as day, and I shouldn't be able to see it. I should see more of this type of a back instead of the type of a back that you have right here. So there's a fatigue factor in there, and all hurdlers get tired, man. It's not, I mean, I'm sure you're in great condition, um, and you're really pushing forward. So when you're coming off of the hurdle, another thing real quick here, see how you're leaning forward? You're leaning way, way too soon. You have to be a sprinter. You have to sprint through the line. Yeah, you're losing time because of how forward you are on that. And I know the angst to get to that line is there, and you feel like you want to push forward to get to the line, but you need to be tall off of the hurdle. And then your step before the line, that's when you aggressively lean. Man, it looks like 13.7, 13.8 is what you ran. Whew, doggy, that's a pretty decent time, son. Nice job, man. You're a great hurdler. Um, you just have a couple little ticky-tacky things that's probably going to be more emphasized when you have to move up to the 42s, but right now you are really sound. Just get tall off of the hurdle, stop that free side, stop that hand from going back behind your hips on the opposite side of your wrap arm, and you're looking at, you're going to be running a really nice time. I'd love the opportunity to work with you, man. I think I can get you through those 42s um, in a solid period of time. We can probably get you comfortable on top of those 42s. So, all right, that's all I've got. I'll make another one for the 400 hurdles. If you guys have any questions, just hit the subscribe button and the like, and that lets me know. And then just reach out to me on here and in the messages, and I will get back in touch with you if you want me to check out any of your videos. Or if you're a coach and have a kid that you're working with and want a little feedback on, you can also send that to me. All right, thanks. Have a great day.